This is the Oppo Reno12 Pro, a phone designed for the era of social media. A massive battery, dual 50 megapixel cameras, and a huge 6.7-inch display. Welcome to my day in the life with the Oppo Reno12 Pro.
So the Reno12 is the latest installment out of the Oppo Reno line, and this phone is quite special because it has this new focus on AI, especially with the dual 50 megapixel sensors. And of course we do have an awesome display and design as we've seen with the other Reno phones. And Oppo is saying this has the best Reno battery life ever with a 5000 mAh cell and a special chip designed for efficiency. But I do think that this phone is a strange value proposition as it actually undercuts the chip performance by quite a significant margin compared to other phones on the market at this price point. Launching with a mid to high-end pricing, the Oppo Reno12 Pro comes with a chip that really doesn't match up to its pricing. It comes with the Dimensity 7300, which is also the same chip that was launched in the CMF phone, which is also a third of the price of this phone right here. But with its focus on AI, its really good display, design, and the cameras, this phone might have something for some people. So that's what we'll be testing out in my day in the life. We're going to be taking out the Oppo Reno12 Pro as a university student. As I do my daily task, we're going to be testing out the performance, the cameras, the display, most importantly the battery life, to see if the Oppo Reno12 Pro is worth it in 2024. I'll be keeping down the battery indicator on the bottom of the screen. It's currently 10:05 and our battery percentage is at 97%. So I'll be keeping you updated on how the battery does throughout the day. And let's get into this day in the life.
Okay, so it's the first week of the trimester and I've been sick for the first few days. I've got quite a few lectures to catch up on, so I'm going to do them now. While I'm catching up on my lectures, let's talk about the display on the Reno12 Pro. This device is equipped with a pretty large 6.7-inch AMOLED panel that can refresh up to 120Hz. It's not LTPO unfortunately, so it can only go between 120Hz at full motion and 60Hz when displaying static content to conserve battery life. The display here is actually pretty impressive with support for 1 billion colors, HDR10+ certification, and a peak brightness of 1400 nits. You will have no trouble using this display in almost all lighting conditions except for direct sunlight. Content looks awesome and detailed with a full HD+ resolution, giving a 394 pixel per inch density. The screen to body ratio is pretty good at around 93%, and looks even more slimmer thanks to the quad curved design on the edges of the display. We also have Corning Gorilla Victus 2 glass protection. And one of the coolest features of this display is the Splash Touch. If you've heard of the OnePlus Aqua Touch technology, it's also used here on the Reno12's display. This is actually a really useful feature that works surprisingly better than expected. It started raining while I was filming and I didn't even notice until I realized that the phone screen was responding just as smoothly. This is a really handy feature and it makes this display even better. I also noticed that the fingerprint scanner was also ultra responsive and I don't think it ever missed throughout my day. This is probably thanks to the Splash Touch and touch optimization technology. In summary, the Reno12 Pro's display is worthy of an A grade for its colorful 120Hz refresh rate display, along with the Splash Touch feature, making this one of the best displays on a phone at this price and maybe even flagship worthy.
Okay, so finished with some of my lecture work, and I'm gonna go meet up with my friend so we can test out the cameras on the Oppo Reno12 Pro. Yo, what's up?
Hey.
This is Humaira, and we are going to be doing a photo shoot with the Oppo Reno12 Pro, and she's gonna do some modeling for me.
Of course.
She's also vlogging as well.
Hey, say hi to the camera, guys. They can't
Back
say
and
hi,
forth.
but it's okay.
It's okay.
But yeah.
Alright, let's take some photos.
Cameras are one of the biggest highlights of the Reno series and I was super excited to test them out. Both Reno12s come with the same 50 megapixel primary sensor, but the Pro gets a dedicated 50 megapixel telephoto portrait lens, which was a standout feature on the previous two Renos. Taking a look at these shots from the primary sensor, they take some pretty good detailed shots with good dynamic range. Colors are excellent and sharp with little noise. Now testing out the portrait mode, we get some impressive pictures with great separation between the foreground and background with excellent bokeh. Moving on to the dedicated telephoto lens, the results are even more amazing. At first glance, I could be tricked into thinking that these photos were taken on a professional mirrorless camera. The details, colors, and overall picture quality is next level. The depth in the image with the focus fading from the plant in front to the wall in the background is very impressive, and the faces are not over-sharpened.
Okay, we're gonna go to a different location to try take some more photos. See you
Yes.
guys there. The bridge.
Yes, we found it. Oh my god, after
Going upstairs and downstairs and
upstairs, pretty much.
everywhere.
With smooth and clear detailed skin textures, the images taken here simulate a professional camera. This is not your typical AI cut-out portrait mode that we've seen for the likes of Samsung and Apple. This is a truly powerful portrait camera system on the Reno12 Pro. I'm honestly very impressed with this portrait lens, and had I not known this was taken on a phone, I honestly could believe this came from a mirrorless camera. Now the camera setup here is not perfect. Sometimes the portrait mode can be a little hard to operate and at times result in weird images, especially on the selfie camera in low light. They're still using AI to create these effects, which can lead to distorted images at times. The selfie camera is also a pretty high-end 50 megapixel camera, but it isn't as good as the main sensors on the back, but it still provides excellent colors and dynamic range. The ultra-wide sensor is only 8 megapixels and isn't even worth being used. While images taken on the Reno12 don't have that over-sharpened, processed, unnatural look, photos can look pretty soft and low-light photography can lead to some blurred images. Video is in the Reno12 strength with only 4K 30fps available on the primary sensor and the selfie camera. It's not amazing, but it gets the job done with some decent amount of stabilization. The main issue for video is that the dynamic range shifts aggressively from light to dark conditions, but otherwise looks decent. In conclusion, the Reno12 Pro's camera system packs in a great primary sensor and an excellent telephoto portrait lens that takes some professional looking photos. However, its low light capabilities and weak ultra-wide and video abilities give the Reno12 Pro's camera system a grade of B+.
Okay, so we finished taking some photos. We even did some TikToks.
We did.
So terima kasih or
Terima kasih.
terima kasih.
Terima kasih everyone for watching this video. Better like, comment, subscribe, share to people you know, and
Yeah, follow her. What's your handle?
it'll be on the screen. It'll
Yeah,
be on
I'll
the
put it
screen.
somewhere.
But yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go to my lecture, so I'll see you guys later.
See you guys.
While I'm at this lecture, let's talk about the AI photo editing features introduced on the Reno12 Pro. This phone is being marketed as an AI phone, even with the tagline being printed on the box, and while it has a lot of those same features we have seen with Samsung and Google, some have not been released yet. So what we have at the moment is a tool called AI Eraser. This tool allows you to erase objects and people from images, and it works on any photo, even photos taken on different devices. It works decently, and in this photo you can see I managed to remove people pretty easily. I would say it is quicker than Galaxy AI, but the generative results can sometimes look a bit funky, as you can usually expect from generative AI.
We are not necessarily teaching you, we are doing it. We will have about 5, and then the week after, about 3, unlocking at 5.
Okay, so this one lecture done, one more to go. It is currently 3:27, and our battery percentage is at 69%, which is actually doing pretty awesome. But let's talk about performance on the Oppo Reno12 Pro, because I have quite a few thoughts. So this phone here is equipped with the MediaTek Dimensity 7300 4nm chip, which is actually a pretty low-end chip, which I was pretty surprised when they announced that they were putting it inside the Oppo Reno12 Pro for the global versions, and still using the 9300 in the China edition. While the performance on the Oppo Reno12 Pro has been passable. Even using my apps like Instagram, I did notice that the frames were dropping, that there were a couple lags and stutters here and there, and just the general usage, if you do too much on it, it's gonna show. It's gonna slow down a bit. Even though it does come with 12 gigabytes of RAM, I do feel like it's not that necessary as the chip is trying to be more efficient and save more battery life by shutting down background apps. So using apps that you haven't used in a while will actually end up relaunching them, which kind of makes 12 gigabytes of RAM not really useful in my opinion. However, the camera app does launch pretty quickly. Taking photos is pretty decently quick, so I'm pretty happy with the results on the camera. And also testing it out with gaming, Genshin Impact ran pretty average at best on low settings. Bumping at medium settings at 30 FPS, it actually came up with the overclock warning, and while it could run, there were a few stutters and lags here and there. So I'm not complaining it's slow, I'm complaining about how expensive the phone is for this kind of performance. It's still a pretty efficient chip, as we got that really good battery life, and if you don't push it too hard, the performance is flawless. But if you push it too much, especially at this price point where you are probably going to be pushing it a bit too much, it's just not going to be able to take it. And for its performance rating, I do give it a rating of a B-. Alright, so that's my take on the performance on the Oppo Reno12 Pro. Let's keep going in this day in the life.
Yo, what's up, guys? Hi, I'm Lewis. I'm Gertrude, and you're watching Disney Channel.
What is this?
I don't know what is this.
Disney Channel.
Okay, so we pretty much wrapped up the club event. It is currently 6:28. Our battery percentage is 61%. But let's quickly talk about some of the other features that we get on the Oppo Reno12 Pro. So we do get dual speakers. So we get stereo speakers on the front ear face and the bottom speakers that are now stereo, which is a pretty cool upgrade over the older Reno series. They are pretty decent, I would say. We do also get a pretty weak vibration motor. I don't really think the vibration motor on here is that good. For this kind of price point, I don't think that the vibration motor is suitable. I would say that they should put a better vibration motor on this thing. But other than that, we also do get a lot more storage and a micro SD card slot, so that's something pretty cool on here. Other thing is that storage for pricing is actually pretty generous. In here in New Zealand, for the base model, it's actually 512 gigabytes of storage, which is massive for a phone at this price. So that is definitely a huge bonus over there. To wrap up all the features with the Oppo Reno12 Pro, I'll give this a solid A, simply because of the storage size, the micro SD expansion slot, the Aqua Touch, and you also do get pretty good speakers. So we're almost done with the day in the life, but I'll go home now. I'll tell you guys later. Okay, so we've now officially reached the end of the day in my life, and it's time to go through the battery performance to see how the Oppo Reno12 Pro has done throughout the day. So it's currently 8:58 and our battery percentage is at 48%, which is really good. So we're going to be taking a look at the battery performance, and I'm not going to go to the battery settings because the battery settings actually show the screen on time from yesterday, which isn't going to be accurate because we only took off the charger this morning. So we took off the phone off the charger at 8:30 AM and we've had a total screen on time of 3 hours and 46 minutes. Now with 48% remaining and having this amount of screen on time, with this 5000 mAh battery cell and the processor on the Oppo Reno12 Pro, it actually does a really good job of being able to conserve energy throughout the day, and I'm really impressed with the battery results. I'm going to say this is really impressive, and the Oppo Reno12 Pro deserves a battery rating of A. Now let's talk about how the Reno12 Pro did throughout the day in all of the other categories. So starting off with the display, the Oppo Reno12 Pro packs in a very good display. A huge 6.7-inch Full HD Plus 120Hz refresh rate AMOLED display that does get up to a pretty big peak brightness of 1400 nits. The colors, detail, sharpness are really high end on this phone, and you also do get that Aqua Touch, which is actually really useful. Being able to use the phone in the rain or with water on display and have basically no issues trying to use the phone was actually really helpful. So on that side, the display does deserve an A grade. Moving on to the cameras were really solid, but there were a few things that weren't quite up to par. So we do have a dual 50 megapixel wide and telephoto lens, and they do take some really good photos with some great dynamic range, colors, and especially when it comes to portraits, they do take some really cool photos, which could even fool me into thinking that some of these photos were taken on a professional mirrorless camera. However, when it comes to low light and the ultra wide, things do suffer, and the image quality does degrade quite quickly, and also video doesn't look that great. So just because of those cons, the Reno12 Pro gets a B+ grade in this area. Now performance was the weakest area for the Reno12 Pro, which really isn't up to par for this price range and for this phone. It's quite disappointing really to see this kind of chip being put in such a good phone. It's smooth when you're not pushing it too hard, but as soon as you start multitasking or flicking through different apps, you definitely feel that chip struggling a bit. And taking a look at the features and design of the Reno12 Pro, you do get some pretty cool stuff. The design is one of the biggest focuses of the Reno12 Pro. You get that really cool quad curved display that does really float across the edges of the phone. You do get that nice shimmer design on the back of the phone. And of course, you do get lots of storage. This is one of the biggest selling points of the Reno12 Pro is how much storage you get at the price point. Here in New Zealand, you can get the Reno12 Pro at around $600 with 512 gigabytes of storage, which pretty much doubles and quadruples any competitor at its price point. And if you wanted to get more storage, there is micro SD expansion inside the SIM slot. There's a lot of good things about the features on the Reno12 Pro that I like, and that is why it gets an A grade. So putting all of these results together, the Reno12 Pro gets a final grade of 79 or a B+, verging on an A-. For this grade, I would recommend purchasing this phone at a price of $600 or under. And with Oppo devices, you know that they're going to go on sale pretty often, so you're going to get a pretty good bargain on this phone. But just remember, as I said, the performance is really lacking in this area. Everything else about this phone is really good. So if performance is a key thing for you, don't get the Oppo Reno12 Pro. Go with something else. Alright, I'm Upwards. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.